Hello everyone, we are here for a very special video in which I'm talking to a brand new Path of Exile 2 player who just played it for the first time last week. And judging from the fact that I've been talking a lot about my wife, you probably know who this is. Who is this?
Talkative Try's wife. My name's Natalie, or Mrs. Try, I guess.
All right, yeah, those are three good names. Okay, that sounds good. And we're gonna talk about Path of Exile 2 from a brand new player's perspective. Because you hadn't played Path of Exile 2 before, but you had played a bit of Path of Exile 1, right?
Yes, I played a previous league. I got to Act 7,
Okay.
but it's been tough to play with our 2-year-old recently.
That makes total sense. And we have another one on the way, so I might be a bit absent in August, unfortunately. Sorry, everyone, but baby comes first, as does my wife. So, okay. And I know the thumbnail has promised something about lives changing, and that is not clickbait at all. We're going to save that until the very end, and the answer is a bit more wholesome than you might be thinking. So, let's get right into the interview. Wait, but before we do, make sure you like the video, subscribe to this channel for more weird or cool Path of Exile 2 content just like this, so that Mrs. Try, Mrs. Talkative Try, or Natalie can make it to that next PoE 2 event and play some more. Okay, so let's dive right in. As a new player, as a non-Path of Exile player, what did you like most about Path of Exile 2? What were your first impressions?
The first time that I saw the gameplay footage when we first got to the event, I thought that it was a lot brighter than Path of Exile 1, and I liked that. In Path of Exile 1, I remember a lot of like caverns or dungeon type things that were really dark, and I liked how bright it was.
Like vibrant, like there were way more environments. They were quite varied and everything.
Yeah, the environment seemed more outside.
What was your favorite one? Do you have a favorite?
Um, I like the jungle ones because
The
they're
jungle
brighter.
one? Did you like the hunting grounds then with all the animals? The one that we almost died at? Well, we did die quite a bit in.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we can put that gameplay up on screen now. I don't know if GGG will have it approved, but if they have, you'll see the footage of us in the hunting grounds right now where we were absolutely mobbed by more monsters than I've ever seen in Path of Exile 2 before. It was pretty crazy. Okay, yeah. Well, that's very cool. What was the best aspect of the game for you?
The couch co-op, definitely. It was way better than being on the computer. My husband and I usually play right next to each other, so he helps me out a lot because I'm not as experienced with Path of Exile. But couch co-op, that made it so much easier because the TV screen was bigger and it was split screen, so I could open up.
Was it split screen? We were on the same screen though, right?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess what I mean is like we could both open up our inventory
right.
at the same time, and we could both open up like the passive tree and the skills, so he could see easily what my skills were and stuff and help me select the best ones.
Yeah, but you were totally carrying me though. Did you really need my help? Everybody saw
That
how many
was
times I died.
mostly just luck and
Button mashing?
button magic.
I don't think so. I think you were doing really well in carrying me through.
Oh, I was gonna say buttons.
Mashing? Button what?
I keep losing my train of thought.
It's fine.
Buttons spamming.
Button spamming. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, those are all great. Those are all synonyms. That was perfect. That's good. Okay, so that's the best aspect, couch co-op, and that was great as a beginning, right? And that's what I've been pitching to a lot of people, that this will help bring a ton of new people into Path of Exile 2. What was the worst aspect, though, something that you would provide as feedback to grinding your games? What was confusing you, or what did you not like about Path of Exile 2?
Well, at first, and it was the thing I was most worried about, and I guess it wasn't as bad as I expected, but I have never played the PS5 before either, so the controller was brand new to me. And I saw there's a lot of skills in the demo video, so I was worried about like swapping between skills. But it wasn't too bad, like especially after we remapped some of the skills later on, it was easier.
Yeah, the customizability is there. We were just a little stubborn to start, and we did not remap anything. But then you had the idea of like putting our life flask and mana flasks right next to each other. That helped me a lot in battles.
That helped a lot. Sometimes I'd end up clicking both of them by
Yep.
accident, but that definitely helped, and I think I would get used to that after playing the PS5 for a while.
Yeah. And Subtractem had a pretty good idea of mapping the flasks not onto the arrows, but onto the triangle, circle, square, whatever, because it's hard to press the arrows while you're also moving. And usually you want to flask while moving. You don't want to use abilities while moving or stuff like that, right? Do you think that would work better for you?
Definitely, because there was a couple times where I was holding the controller with both hands on the left side, trying to move and heal.
Yeah. Okay, so we did talk a little bit about controller play. Now I want to talk about the coolest boss. Which boss did you think was best? Because that's a huge selling point of PoE 2. People love bosses, and Path of Exile 2 has a lot of bosses in it.
For me, I liked you know the official name. I call him the Hyena King.
Wrathbreaker.
Yes, him. So we started Act 2, and he was like the first boss there, and I thought he had some cool mechanics where all the hyenas would come out, and we even died a few times there. Part of the reason why I think I liked it though was my husband really wanted to beat Act 1. So I was pretty stressed. I knew I needed to help him beat Act 1. So after we beat Act 1, I felt super relaxed, and I think that helped me enjoy that boss a lot more because I knew even if we lost, we still beat Act 1.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's definitely true. We actually one-shot the Act boss, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. Not because he was easy though, but we did use a lot of portals. I don't think we could have beat him without the portals.
Yeah, a lot of people were pretty miffed that we were using portals in that fight, but it is allowed by GGG, and I do think it really helped us out chip away at him. And it was still tough to get those portals off because if you take any damage during that channel time, the portal channeling stops entirely. Of course, it is easier with 2 players, and maybe there's a solution to that, making it, a little bit harder. What did you think a good solution would be?
I thought
You
they
mentioned-
should have a cooldown on the portal.
Right.
Like maybe if there was a minute cooldown,
Yeah.
that would make it harder.
A minute cooldown, or everyone, I know you'll love this, they go back to having portal scrolls as actual currency. Because right now, you just have unlimited portals. If you had to think about how many portal scrolls you were using in these fights, it might actually matter a whole lot more. I actually kind of like that approach too, but I'm sure people like cooldowns better.
Yeah, I like cooldowns better because your inventory fills up so fast. That's one of the things I don't like about PoE because I never know, like, as an inexperienced player, I don't know what to pick up or not. So it's nice not having the inventory fill up as fast.
Did you think that playing PoE 2, the loot experience, was better or worse than your time in PoE 1?
Way better. And that's actually what I was most excited about for Path of Exile 2. When my husband first asked me, I said less loot because Path of Exile 1, I kept filling up my inventory so fast and having to go back to town and selling it.
And
So
in PoE
this
2 it wasn't
was-
an issue for the most part?
A little bit of an issue, but not as bad.
Okay, okay. Well, some of you will be happy to hear that, and others will be extremely disappointed, but that's okay. That's okay. There's time. Okay, coolest boss we just talked about. What do you think was the hardest boss that we fought?
The hardest boss for us was the Executioner.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of like our weapons and stuff that we had at that point. I know we upgraded some of the weapons during that fight, and that actually helped us. But he had a lot of strong attacks. My husband kept getting one shot, which was pretty funny. I had more health than him, which is why I was staying alive, and I was ranged too, so I could
You had some good
like
dodges,
run
though.
around.
You had some good dodges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked him though because, well, I still got hit by a lot of stuff, but you could sort of tell where it was gonna land.
Yeah, it was really telegraphed. You really liked the gruesomeness of the fight too, right?
No, actually, I didn't even notice he was chopping off someone's head. Sometimes I just block that kind of stuff out. But then my husband pointed it out,
Yep.
and then I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah.
But another hard boss was the one in the graveyard.
Draven?
Yeah. Because I just could not dodge all those green circles. There was just so much happening. So For me, that was harder to dodge everything. I think I died more in that fight.
Yeah. Well, I had already tried that fight for like an hour and a half before, so that's probably why I was better. That's the one I got stuck on back at the other event. And in this event on the PS5, that was actually the only fight that lagged out the PS5 because there's so many effects going on from Draven and from Assinia. So that really speaks not only to how complicated it is, but how difficult all those different mechanics make it. So I'd say that was probably one of the toughest fights. We probably spent about the same amount of time on Draven as the Executioner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's too early on to have a fight that complex? Because we were what? Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours into Act 1? Is that too early, you think?
I don't think so. I mean, we were able to beat it, and I'm not that experienced at video games, so I think other people, especially experienced video game players, would find it challenging and like that.
Speaking of experienced video game players, you got to meet a lot of different content creators and people at this event for the first time. Which person was the best out of the bunch? I know this is really difficult, and I'm making you choose, and I could never choose myself. But I'm going to make you choose, because you're not, like, in the community right now, so you don't have to answer these people.
Well, everybody was so nice to me, and nice to try. So it's really hard. I was just gonna say Jonathan, 'cause I know my husband loves Jonathan, and you can just tell how smart he is and how dedicated he is to the game. And
Gotta let our cat in.
yeah, our cat's meowing. Oh,
Reading your mind. You can keep going. It's fine. We don't need to cut. More about Jonathan.
oh, that's pretty much all I.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's right. Jonathan's pretty great. Captain Lance was really nice as well. He said congratulations, you know. It's good.
Was that the first person we talked to?
No, that was Record of Days. Captain Lance came and said hi to us as we were going to get Amber's gift.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was nice. Noogie
Yep.
was nice. We talked
Yeah.
to him a lot.
Yep.
We saw DM shortly, and
Yeah.
I had seen videos of him before that my husband watched, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Everybody else I had to point out and say, hey, that's that person. Hey, oh yeah, that's Big Ducks right there. But DM, she was like, that's DM right there. Look, it's Dark Microtransaction. It was pretty funny. So, okay. So we've got 3 more questions here. The first one is, would you recommend PoE 2 to a non-gamer or a non-ARPG player?
I would if they have help from like an experienced player.
Do you think it's too hard to get into the game just yourself still?
No, I think you could if you had an interest in it, but if you weren't really interested in that type of game
Okay.
to begin with,
Yeah.
I think it would help to have someone that's experienced that can help you. And that's really easy with the couch co-op.
Right. Yeah. It's a huge win there. Okay. And then one thing I want you to put on a developer hat for a moment. What would you add to PoE 2?
Now, this is hard because I actually heard someone saying the opposite of what I'm about to say at the event about how PoE 2 should lean into the gruesomeness. And in my mind, I was thinking, I don't really like that. And sometimes I filter it out while I'm playing. There was one point where we were going through the village, and there was just a whole bunch of people like hanging, and I didn't really realize it at first, but then I saw it and I was like, oh, that's sort of gross. And then same with the executioner, like chopping off the head. I know some people love that, but
Hello.
maybe for people like me or for younger people, like my husband thinks our 2-year-old's going to play soon, like next year.
True.
But I can't see that happening with how gruesome the game is. So maybe they could have like a gruesome filter or violence filter.
Right. Okay.
Probably
Like,
not going to happen, but
It's always
what I
possible.
thought.
They have an extra gore filter or addition in PoE 1. You can put more gore. We just need to get
well,
rid
there
of the gore.
definitely should be one for less gore.
So that's a possibility. And most definitely, I'm going to show our daughter the Lunaris Temple Level 2. You remember that from your PoE playthrough? It's the Rivers of Blood, where you fight Piety for the first time, and there's endless screaming.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
could just be turned to water.
Yeah, it could be turned to water. The screams could just be turned to people, what, cheering, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so one final question for you. And it's in the thumbnail, it's in the title, it's the clickbait of the video. Has PoE 2 changed your life?
Yes, it has. What I initially think is it's created lots of content for my husband. So that's great. It makes him happy but it also has given me something to look forward to because I do enjoy playing video games with my husband. The one that we normally play is Guild Wars 2 when we have time. But I'm definitely looking forward to playing PoE 2 with him. I even told him maybe we have to get a PlayStation 5 because I really liked playing it on the TV a lot better.
Oh, so it has changed your life because it allows me to make content. The content does make us money, so now we have a little bit of extra money we can spend on our family,
That's
on
true.
trips.
So,
Yeah.
like you said, like and subscribe.
True. Oh, you're doing it so well, sweetie. Like the video if you like the interview. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like some more Path of Exile 2 content like this or like my usual stuff. And make sure, if you want more content right now, watch these two videos right here about all things coming to PoE 2 on consoles and beyond. Now, can you say it with me? Talakura. 1, 2, 3. Talakura.
Talakura.